Welcome to Stop Motion Animation, fourth graders. This is a study of movement and storytelling. Mr. Wochuk is going to be doing the technology part of this, and I'm going to be doing the art part of this because stop motion animation is half art and half technology for sure. In this video, there's not necessarily going to be any audio, so it's only going to be a study of movement and storytelling unless you can put in audio yourself. So when we think of stop motion animation, oftentimes students think of some pretty famous claymation characters like some here. And that's not necessarily what we'll be doing this time either, simply because I'm not sure if you have modeling clay at home. So if you do, that could be an option. Here's claymation in action, so you can see what it looks like on a set when they're actually filming using claymation. It's pretty awesome. You can see how big or small the set is compared to what you might have thought earlier. You can see the artist moving the characters. You can only move them a small amount in order to get your in order to get a good fluid film. And you can see the size relationships between the characters and the people that are working on them, the artists that are working on them. And you can see the art parts and the technology parts. So it's all mixed together. Here's a short clip of a video that I wanted to show you. This was done by a student several years ago. So it was a really short video. I'll play it one more time. You can see some things to notice in here are the background. Notice the two characters that are there and notice the movement and how fluid or not fluid the movement is. Also take note of how the characters in this film are created and excuse me, and take note of the background area as well and how that shows in this film. It's about a second film, second excuse me, a 7-second film, so it's very short, but your films are probably only going to be around 10 to 24 seconds anyway, and just that 7-second film took a long time to make and quite a few photos to make, and kind of similar if you were a 3rd grader with me last year, similar to what we did last year, except for we're trying to go 3D with it this year with our new devices. So for the art part of it in my classroom, what you need to do is create a storyboard. And we've never done this before. So, what a storyboard is, it develops your storyline so you have a clear vision of what your film should look like on a worksheet, on a piece of paper. I want you to develop your title frame. I want you to sketch out your major movements and actions, any kind of props or what's going to happen in your video. um, Make sure you have your characters developed, speech bubbles if you want to, because I'm not going to add audio unless you would like to do that yourself. And then develop an end frame. And so this is what it looks like so we can break it all down. So, first of all, a storyboard. A storyboard is super, super simple. So I usually divide up a paper into 6 or 7, or excuse me, 6 or 8 cells. So I would divide my paper in half and then divide it a couple more times. This is my storyboard title, my storyboard the end, my two characters, which are going to be the coronavirus and Baby Yoda, which are all over the news right now and in pop culture, meaning Yoda. And then my background is just going to be a hill. So this coronavirus is going to come down and try to attack Baby Yoda. And Baby Yoda is going to do a flip in the air, kick the coronavirus, and it's going to pop. So I'm going to add a speech bubble in there. So I have a clear vision of what my video is going to look like. And this will keep us focused. It'll keep us from adding too many things in because in the end, sometimes, especially in elementary school, we add more and more and more, and suddenly we lose the story and it doesn't make sense. I really want you to spend the art part of my time creating the characters and creating a good story. So when you create your characters for your storyboard, now that you have your storyboard done, you're going to create your characters. Think about what materials you have in your house. I have clay, so I used claymation for mine. Mr. Wojcik didn't have that. So in his video that you're about to see, he had a robot and he had this other kind of cone in his classroom and he used it. So if you have characters in your house, or if you would like that are three-dimensional, or if you'd like to build something out of modeling clay, or anything that's three-dimensional, if you want to take found objects and make them do things in, in your video, it's really totally up to you. The only thing I ask is that your story makes sense and that your characters, fit into your film. You can draw any speech bubbles or props if you want. Make sure to draw the title frame and make sure to draw the end frame. So this is what it looks like. Here is my title frame that I put on a separate sheet of paper. Here's my end frame. I wanted my fonts to match, which is my letter style to match, and I wanted to put my signature on there. And then here's my characters or my props made out of modeling clay. So I have my coronavirus and I have my baby Yoda ready to go. So now this is the art part of it, and I'd like you to spend some time doing a nice job on your title frame and your end frame. These were both made on a piece of computer paper, and what I did is I put them in my background. So here's our next step. Choose how to make a background for your 3D scene, whatever works for you. So you could make a triorama by taking a square sheet of paper and folding it in half and half again. After you cut the slit in the paper, you can just tuck this fold over that one, tape it or glue it, and then you have a triorama. You might see the top part of this, but it could be interesting in your film. I'm not sure. So you decide what that looks like for you. You could do it. You could make a shoebox. So this is a shoebox. And I think the cover's just been flipped like all the way around, or the sides have been cut off, and the person glued down a sky and land, and then have this awesome texture. So cool. I love that. This is just like a piece of paper that people can use and you can prop it up. And these, I wanted to choose some pretty exceptional and interesting looking backgrounds because really your background is so cool in your film. And this is like cotton balls and styrofoam, and these are made out of clay and there's sand and rocks if you have like a sandbox or something. But you do whatever works for you for your background. What works for this is that the sand is heavy, so it holds that down and this paper stays up really great. You can just prop it up. um, then you're going to put it into action. So when you go to watch Mr. Wojcik's film, he did a great job, and I didn't instruct him to do anything. He is just showing you the tech part of it. So when you see his video, you will see that he has no background. I want you to create a background. And so for my background, I used a box. I wanted you to see my filming area. So this is my filming station. I took a box, I put in a background of blue sky and land. And when I went to go film, I have just my title frame here. And when I take my photo, I can just fit that, just the battle right into my camera for my Chromebook. So I'll be taking the photos with my Chromebook. My Chromebook has a camera right on top that I can easily take the photos with. So this is my station that I'm setting up on a table. And remember, I'm not moving my camera and I have taped down my box. That's super important, just like last year if you had me and we used our iPads. So what I did is I took 10 photos of the title page. Why would I do that? The reason why I would do that is because I want that to people to be able to read that title page. So if I have it up for 10 seconds, they can easily read it. If it's up there for one photo, 1 second, they probably can't read it. Mr. Wojcik will also talk to you about having your slides timed. So that's another way you could do it. You could time your slides and extend the time on your title page if you'd wish. Then I set up my scene. Sorry, my dog's barking. I set up my scene. I took 100 photos of my action scene in order to create, and you can even take more, the longer the better. Move your character slowly, take lots of photos. The more photos, the better, and the longer it goes. Then I created the end so you can see what that feels like with the background. Now, what I'd like you to do is watch Mr. Wojcik's video on his webpage for the filming of it. For me, when I showed you these 3, slides, this is simply just the beginning of how to set up your filming station. Mr. Wochuk is the person that's going to show you how to actually go about taking the photos. So once you get to this point, you're having your filming station ready, now it's time to look at Mr. Wochuk because your art part of it for a little bit is done. But this part is important, taking the 100 photos and really moving your character slowly. That's art and tech together for sure. So make sure you do that. All right, friends, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, we will see you in a Google Meet and good luck. And I can't wait to see your videos. Awesome. Bye.